jerk Corker from Tennessee. Here's what he had to say on the floor of the Senate today. Cut 3, go.
119-page amendment. People know that the way we write language is triple space, big letters. Got a lot of seniors in this body. You know, we write in big letters.
All right, that's enough. Oh, aren't you clever, you jerk? Aren't you clever? Well, it's big letters. Well, let me tell you, folks, I don't think he knows what's in the bill, but if he does, he's lying through his teeth. Didn't he say this is the strongest security on the border that we can get? Well, our buddies at Breitbart, who've done an incredible job trying to track this down over the weekend, well, they point out that on page 35, line 24 of this bill, a provision was inserted that says Napolitano, who already believes the border is secure, can decide against building a fence if she chooses not to erect one. Here's what it says. Quote, notwithstanding paragraph 1, nothing in this subsection shall require the Secretary to install fencing or infrastructure that directly results from the installation of such fencing in a particular location along the southern border if the Secretary determines that the use or placement of such resources is not the most appropriate means to achieve and maintain effective control over the southern border of such location. Now, what do you think the Supreme Court's going to do with that? Oh, we'll sue till we're blue in the face. And the court's going to say, what, it says right here, she doesn't have to do it. She has discretion. Here's paragraph 1. No later than 180 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Secretary shall establish a strategy to be known as the Southern Border Fencing Strategy to identify where 700 miles of fencing, including double-layer fencing, infrastructure, and technology, including at ports of entry, shall be deployed along the southern border. That paragraph of the bill reads. Now, this could allow illegal aliens to be granted amnesty or legalized registered provisional immigration status once she submits a fencing plan to Congress. That's it, a plan. You know what? They probably have the plan ready to go already. The provision allows Napolitano to decide against building the fence, and after doing so, with no legal ramifications. So, she decides, no, I have decided in my own discretion, that's what the law says on page 35, we don't need the fence. I've also put a plan in for a fence. Therefore, you see, folks, some really clever Harvard lawyers put this together, knowing the Supreme Court decisions about discretion when it comes to the president, based on the decision last year, and we have nothing but dummies in front of TV cameras and behind microphones going on and on about how strong this is, how this is going to be done this time. Nothing but dummies. Dummies. And then what about all these new technologies that are going to be on the border? Remember that? Well, page 30, line 4. There's a provision that gives Napolitano or any of her successors complete discretion on deploying certain technology or use alternative technology instead. And the language of the bill also allows her to deploy no additional technology. So she doesn't have to deploy any additional technology, or she can use alternative technologies, and she's not required to build any portion of the fence. It's within her discretion. And yet if she puts together a plan, a putative plan, and presents it, that triggers the amnesty. That triggers the amnesty. Now let's go to the House. Oh, I bet they've got all kinds of cool ideas over there, over at the House of Representatives, about securing the border and technologies and all the rest. And let's say they pass it all. And John Boehner says, I'm not bringing it to the floor unless we have a majority Republicans, and they have a majority Republicans. In fact, all the Republicans, and they vote for it. Then it goes to conference. Right, Johnny? And that's where all the dirty work's done. And the Speaker picks the conferees for his side and Harry Reid for his side. I have absolute confidence Harry Reid will pick conferees who support his position, and I have absolute confidence John Boehner will pick conferees who are not conservatives or Tea Party activists who want to secure the border, maybe one or two, just for show. And out will pop what? A bill. And it'll pass the Senate because our strong Republican leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, will not fight it with a threat of a filibuster. He's sitting at the back issuing press releases like a backbencher. And over on the House side, Boehner will not institute the Hastert rule, which requires a majority Republican votes. He knows he can count on the rhinos to vote for whatever comes out. and the majority of the Democrats, Harry Reid and Obama, will take care of that. So lickety-split, if it happens, that's how it will happen. Unless we scare the hell out of the Republican leadership in the House and make it very clear to them, we're on to this. We're on to how they're unraveling our country. We're on to the fact that they don't represent us, but they represent the corporatists. We've got it. They represent the Wall Street Journal editorial page. They represent the Chamber of Commerce. They represent those big businesses, those corporatists who are not conservatives. They're not constitutionalists. They want subsidies from the federal government, and they want you, the hardworking taxpayer in this country, to subsidize their workforce. That's what they want. Well, guess what? One little problem. We, you and me, stand in their way. You've been abandoned. They embrace the radical environmental groups, and now this. And that's what kills me, the opportunity for the Republican Party to persuade you folks to vote for it. It's all lost. And in this bill, our friend, the professor, legal insurrection, loophole, and Gang of Eight bill gives Napolitano wide discretion to allow almost anyone to stay in the United States. So in addition to her discretion about the border fence, her discretion about technology at the border, which she can dash, he also points out, Professor Jacobson, that there's a loophole in the bill that gives Napolitano discretion to allow almost anyone to stay in America. This is a joke. Washington Examiner, in the new immigration deal, a big favor for Alaska. Breitbart, casino crony kickback. Harry Reid and Heller slip Las Vegas tourism handout into the immigration bill. Red State, latest deal from the Senate, pass amnesty first, read the bill later. Breitbart, immigration bill incentivizes employers to fire Americans and hire amnestied immigrants. Now remember all this talk about learning English first, and if you don't learn English, well, what are we going to do? Well, we'll do something. Remember? Paul Ryan, Rubio, everybody, they got to learn English. And what happens if you don't? I'll tell you what happens if you don't. The Daily Caller's reporting that HHS opens a new Obama hotline available in over 150 languages by Caroline May. Country's going to hell, folks, and the Republicans are participating in it. But all is not lost. We've had our backs against the wall before. Don't look at these 15 Republicans and the rest of them. Oh, the Hovind Corker bill.